Let's get down to business of creating your site. Once you've logged in and clicked on the site's link and you are in the sites section of either your Google Apps for Education or your regular Gmail account, you click on the word create. You have a choice. You can start with a blank template, which means there's nothing on it that you need, or you can browse the gallery and search for different templates. And we'll get into talking about templates later. Here's one that was created for Horizon High, Westlake. I don't even know what that means. And if you see here, here's the red link. We are in the adams12.org templates. If you want to go out into the bigger wide world of Google, you can click on public, or you can pick a category that'll narrow it down. So I could go to schools and education and look through all these templates: classroom site, science fair, project word site. So remember how I talked about not reinventing the wheel? If you're doing something and you want to see if someone else has created a template that you can use, like you said, adams12.org is only going to show you whoever saved a template. And if you save a template, it will appear here. Sorry, let me show you that again. So these are adams12.org, and when we talk about saving templates later, this is where that'll appear. But like I said, you could go to activities and events if it's an activity and event. You could go to clubs and organizations, schools and education. Remember, you can edit anything that's in these templates. So like, look, you got this classroom corkboard. You can preview the template, see what's there, and you'll be able to add and remove anything. But I'll say it again, you do not have to reinvent the wheel. Look and use the resources that are there for you that can make your life easier. Well, I'm just going to use a blank template for this class. Now, the naming your site part, I talked about this part being important because you can change the name of your site later, but the URL, which is right up here, the Uniform Resource Locator, the web address, will not change. And even if you delete your site, you can't reuse the URL. So you want to think about what you want to be at the name of your site, because it's going to be like, you know, here, sites, google.com, adams12. I'm not sure which part of this will show up, but somewhere after sites, it will say whatever you put in name of your site. Oh, here it is, sorry. sites.google.com, adams12.org, and whatever you put it. So if I'm going to call this, also pay attention here. You can only use the following characters: letters A to Z capitals, A to Z lowercase, and 0 through 9. So you can't have any special characters in your site. I'm just going to name mine Practice. Now, if you're going to start creating your site in the practice activity that you think you're going to use for your final project, which is okay, don't name it Practice, because that's the name of the URL that's going to be. And so if it's going to be, if you're thinking about, you know, I want to make a site for this course or for this purpose, take that into consideration when you're naming your site. Once you pick the name, you can go down here and select a theme, which we'll talk more about later. And themes, like if you're familiar with them, they automatically pick background, text colors, font colors like we talked about. You can always pick and change it later. I'm just going to pick a theme today. Some people like the themes, some people don't like the things. So I'm just going to pick a theme. And then under more options, this is the important part that I want to get to. This is where you can put in the site categories, like when we saw in the browsing of the websites. You need to have a category, or you don't need to have a category, but it's good to have a category so it'll help people find your site. So I'm just going to put this in a practice, and I'm going to call it Online PD. And that's it. You can have as few or as many as you want, and it says have them separated by commas. So let me put a comma in here. Pretty easy to do categories. You can always add these things. Okay, you don't, if you forget to put categories and descriptions, you can go back later and do that. Okay, you can look at the popular categories list that already exists and use those to make sure it'll appear. That will help you too. Now, a site description, you don't have to put anything in either. It can be added to identify the purpose of your site. It'll appear next to your site in the list in the school's domain. So if you want people to know and you start using a lot, you might want to add descriptions, because as they go to browse and see the different categories and see the different sites, they'll be able to tell what this is used for. So I'm just going to say created for a practice assignment. Now, like I said, you do not have to put anything in categories or descriptions, but it just actually will make you much earlier. It'll actually make your life much easier.